This is part 8 of Adeila, written by Huff. Lessons learned. Adeila was very self-sufficient, needing minimal care or help. She could walk, talk, and carry light things. Even so, as with most teenagers, her greatest delight was her ability to drive a vehicle. Vividly, I recall an incident during her high school years. Mom received a phone call from the school nurse inquiring of Adelia's health. The nurse was very fond of Adeila and diligently monitored her condition. So when Adelia was absent from school that day, the nurse was naturally concerned that Adelia had taken ill. Mom responded to the nurse, "She was fine when she left for school this morning. Do I need to come and get her? Is she ill?" With which the nurse replied, She isn't in school today." Udo. Busted. This particular day, Mom had given Adelia permission to drive the family car to school. Mom allowed several girls from town to ride to school with Adelia. These girls decided that the opportunity had just presented itself for a perfect day to skip school. Growing up in Bryant meant you went to school in Lewistown, 7 miles down the road. 15 miles down the road, in the opposite direction, was the much larger community of Canton. Granted, Canton, with a population of less than 20,000, was not a thriving metropolis. Nonetheless, when you're 16 and you live in a community with a population of 350, where the most exciting thing to do is go to Carl Lee's grocery store for a Coke with friends. Canton, with a downtown shopping area centered around a park, seemed like a thrilling place to go. Canton's main roads circled this park. Those who regularly shopped in Canton referred to this area as the Square. Since the Square was the place to hang out on Friday and Saturday nights, these school skippers decided that perhaps it would be cool to spend a gleeful day circling the Square as well. If you're thinking, why the big fuss? I agree. After all, most kids play hooky at least once. Playing hooky in itself was rather amusing, especially in light of how they were caught. However, the result of this day was not so amusing. My mother made Adelia tell the school nurse the truth. While the other mothers reported to the school nurse that their daughters had been ill, the other mothers knew the story would keep their daughters out of school detention. What these mothers did not know was the school nurse had already point-blank asked Adelia if these other girls had been with her. After all, it did not take a rocket scientist to figure out, since they were all from the same small community and they were all absent from school on the same day, they were probably somewhere together. Of course, Adelia, knowing it would be useless to lie to the nurse with Mom sitting right near her, had confessed that the girls were with her. What a stir this caused. All of the girls received attention every night after school for a week. For the remainder of Adelia's high school years, these girls avoided Adelia. However, their avoidance had little effect on Adelia, since these girls were not her usual circle of friends. It is sad that while Mom strived to teach Adelia that breaking rules meant accepting consequences, the other mothers taught their daughters, if caught, say anything to stay out of trouble. As well, Mom knew the value of this lesson for Adelia's 2 younger sisters who would be attending high school too in a few short years and were watching the whole scenario unfold. Apparently, the siblings in the other families practiced the same values given to the elder daughters. Adelia's trouble did not end there. When Dad discovered that Adelia had put a staggering 150 miles on the family car, driving around and around and around the Square, amused is not the word I would use to describe his reaction. Not only was Adelia in detention at school and dealing with teenage squabbles, she found herself grounded and lost her driving privileges for several weeks. On top of that, she had to do chores around the house to pay for the gasoline she had wasted in the wear and tear on the car. Adelia may have been frail, but she was not spoiled, and she certainly did not get any special treatment. What was wrong was wrong. Mom and Dad raised her just as they raised Peggy and me. If you messed up, you paid the piper. Adelia warned me that Mom found out about things before the thought to do them would even cross your mind. She swore Mom had eyes in the back of her head. Approaching high school, I found Adelia's warning kept popping into my mind. Maybe that was a good thing, since Adelia's warning kept my nose clean over my 4 years of high school. The remainder of Adelia's high school years went smoothly. She had a few high school romances and went to all the big affairs such as homecoming, vice versa, and prom. Through Adelia's tenacious work on her studies and with the help of years of tutoring in and out of the hospital, she had been able to keep up with her classmates. She attended high school with her friends and was able to graduate in the same year she should have graduated. Therefore, in May of 1960, when graduation rolled around, she participated in the ceremony with her classmates. Mom and Dad were proud parents at commencement exercises when Adeila walked down the aisle to her seat. Although she was unable to ascend the 3 steps to the stage, she was able to walk to the stage unaided to accept her diploma. The spectators, teachers, board members, and staff, and her fellow seniors applauded enthusiastically as she shook the hand of Mr. Stanley Mason, the school principal. This was a very special and proud moment for Adeila. She had worked hard, struggled through many difficult times, and walked to the stage receiving her diploma with a big smile on her face and wings on her feet. Here is a close-up image of another of Adelia's high school pictures. Wedding bells. In the fall following her graduation, Adeila experienced her greatest romance. Our Uncle Ed had a son, Jimmy. Jimmy married a young girl, Gloria. Jimmy and Gloria were planning a wiener roast. They invited all of our family, Uncle Ed's family, and some of Gloria's family, including Gloria's brother, Norman. Now, Adelia had a steady boyfriend everyone called Deb. Adelia wore Deb's class ring on a chain around her neck. At the wiener roast, sitting across from each other around the fire, Norman and Adelia caught each other's eye. Norman recalls that by the time he had made it to where Adelia sat, the chain holding the ring had been unfastened and disappeared into her blouse. Norman did not find out about Deb until later when Adelia confessed about the disappearing ring. Norman and Adelia hit it off right from the start, and before long, Norman asked her on a date. Of course, by the time the date arrived, Adelia had broken off her romance with Deb. When Norman came to the house, Mom answered the door. Norman politely asked, "Is Adelia here?" To which my mother replied, with a waggle of her head, "Should I know you?" Norman told me he almost turned and ran. After the first day, Adelia and Norman were nearly inseparable. It was not long until Norman popped the big question, but to everyone's surprise, including Norman's, Adelia was reluctant to accept. The reality of what polio had taken from Adelia hit her full in the face. Adelia, aware of her health problems, feared she did not have much to offer a young man like Norman. With her breathing problems from damaged lungs and a weakened heart, she doubted her ability to carry a child. She was concerned that the added pressure on her spine, the stress on her heart, plus all of the other medical issues would prevent her from carrying a child to full term. Adelia feared she would be unable to take care of a husband, keep up the rigors of maintaining a house, or give Norman a family. Thank goodness Norman was a persistent man. He loved Adelia and would not take no for an answer. He assured Adelia that being unable to have children did not mean the end to their world. Norman assured her that there were other avenues to pursue in having a child. Regardless of his pleas, Adelia remained afraid to commit, knowing her limitations could so profoundly impact their lives. Finally, Norman convinced Adelia to go with him for a heart-to-heart discussion with her doctor about her concerns and to get the doctor's options. The doctor pulled no punches. He was honest and frank. The doctor confirmed Adelia's fear that due to her physical health, becoming pregnant could be unsuccessful. He explained that although Adelia ovulated regularly, giving her a chance of becoming pregnant, her body's capability of carrying a child in full term gave him concern. He further stated that if Adelia were to become pregnant, it was probable that she would need to complete bed rest to ensure a safe pregnancy. The doctor visit, in his words, relieved Adelia's mind, making her realize she could make a happy home for her and Norman. As well, the visit had given her that glimmer of hope that there was a slight chance that they could have a child after all. On March 25th, 1961, Adelia Bishop became Adelia Pollitt. Norman was my hero. I will always love this man. The picture I see of Norman is a knight in shining armor. He adored my sister. He made her feel special. He treated her like a queen. Norman was patient, supportive, protective, loving, honest, steady, tender, sympathetic, and understanding. He wanted to give her the world. Norman was totally devoted to Adelia as she was to him. They were a perfect match, a match made in heaven. Here is a close-up image of Norman. In Part 9 of Adelia, written by Carol Huff, we will read Homes and Children.